Good evening, and welcome to our show, Brookfield Public Advocate. I'm your host, Bruce Senek. Tonight's show marks the beginning of our second year on Charter Channel 21. I want to extend my gratitude to my behind-the-scenes crew, because without their help, we would not be able to bring our show on Brookfield's Public Affairs. And also a special shout-out to Greg here at Charter for all his help in making it a success. Tonight we have a common interest story, and we will move in somewhat of a different direction. It is virtually impossible to turn on the TV or pick up a magazine or a newspaper without some mention as to one of America's pressing issues. America has an obesity epidemic, and what is particularly troubling is that our youth are developing health problems only previously seen as we adults get older. That leads us to our topic tonight, one of the two things that Americans can do to combat this issue, and that's physical fitness. When I was growing up, one of my first recollections was of JFK's Physical Fitness Initiative. Well, here we are 50 years later, and it seems it's just a faded memory. We've had images of Presidents Clinton and Bush jogging and President Obama shooting hoops, but the nation's health just keeps getting worse. This episode will deal with what the folks, both young and old, can do: exercise. First, a little background on our guest. Kerry Swift is a graduate of Southern Connecticut State University, having a degree in criminal justice. While at Southern, she ran varsity cross-country, indoor and outdoor track, and that was before switching to rugby. Her part-time job was teaching exercise class. After college, Kerry worked in the corporate world, but still found time for exercise. And after having children, she became a stay-at-home mom, but took a part-time job at the Y, again, you guessed it, for exercise. She is now an AFA certified personal trainer, maybe she'll tell us what AFA stands for, and also holds several exercise instructor certifications such as Body Pump and Silver Sneakers. And maybe we'll learn what they are all about as well. Kerry, thank you for coming and welcome to our show.
Thank you, and I can't believe it's our second year.
Yeah, time flies, so I think we must have been having fun.
Yeah, went fast.
Well, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, the ab roller, 20-minute workout, lose weight with pills, and the TV show, The Biggest Loser. Eat less, move more. I don't know where to begin, but let's try. Now, you specialize in the exercise aspect, though I may ask some general questions regarding diet later, a major contributor to the health crisis. What are some of the different categories of exercise?
Basically, there's cardio and strength training, but you also have to worry about agility and flexibility. You also can kind of combine cardio, strength training, and agility and flexibility, but you want to make sure to work on all four of those components.
Do you specialize in one particular area, or
no,
you're good across the board?
Really, physical fitness is everything. So as a personal trainer, you have to make sure for your clients that you give them the whole package, because people need all four of those things. In fact, the biggest criteria for being admitted to a nursing home is usually a fall, and that starts with balance and agility. Yeah. And that's what starts to go, and then people have a fall, they break a hip, or they just can't be on their own anymore, and then they're in a nursing home. So it really is important to worry about balance and agility as well as flexibility, being able to bend and move too.
Is there a, quote, best type of exercise?
There's no real best type. People ask me that a lot. They'll always say, what's the best type of cardio? The best type is the type you like and that you'll do. And basically what you need to do is you have to get your heart rate up. You have to make sure, have a doctor's okay that your heart is strong enough to do some physical exercise. But even heart patients, they get them working and get them exercising again and have them working on cardio. Then what they recommend is that you have your heart rate elevated for at least 20 minutes. And there's formulas for that, but we often used a perceived exertion. So you want to warm up for about 5 minutes and then exert yourself to where if there's music playing, you couldn't quite sing along with the song easily. You would be breathing a little harder than that, and that's where you are working well. You don't have to work really hard every day, but you do have to be breathing hard enough that you can't quite sing along with the song, and then you cool down again. And people have to work up to that. You can't expect to go out and be able to do that right away. So we start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and so whatever type of cardio you enjoy. If you like riding a bike, that's fine. If you enjoy swimming, whatever you enjoy and do, you do.
Okay, and also how often should one do that?
As often as possible, at least. I recommend 6 days a week. If you only can do 3 days, you only do 3 days. Every day that you do is better than nothing, but you really want to try for 6 days a week.
Would there be a problem for people that work long hours and are very sedentary that try to do, I don't know if I'll say catch up, but on weekends, the weekend warrior, is that maybe harmful?
Well, you can't do that for long because your body has to be physically fit enough. I'll have people start with me, they'll be like, I want to work out for 2 hours. I'm like, you can't start with 2 hours, you won't make it. You want to really try to fit in. If you're at a sedentary job and you can only do 10 minutes at a time, that's okay. Then do 10 minutes 3 times a day, or 20 minutes at your lunch break and 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon. You want to make sure you get in some time for weightlifting and get some weight bearing, even if you only use body weight, which is actually excellent. Body weight is excellent, but you want to make sure that you get some time, like preferably 6 days a week. But if you do a longer workout on the weekend, that's okay, but you have to do something during the week too, because your body's just not going to be ready to do a big workout on the weekend if you don't do something during the week.
Are there different exercise regimens that you advise and maybe for different age groups?
Yes and no, actually. People, basically, you don't want to really have a child lifting heavy weights. You want to wait till they're older, and until they go through puberty, they really don't get a lot out of the weightlifting either because they don't build muscles like an adult. But I recommend that everyone lift weights, especially seniors, because it builds muscle, it keeps the bones strong, and you're keeping your bones strong is helping to prevent fractures, and also the agility and the balance. But weightlifting is great for seniors, great for women, and I have a lot of women who ask me about, aren't I going to build big muscles and I shouldn't be lifting weights? And that's actually not true at all. You can't build big muscles as a woman because you just you're not a man. And even men, if you look at most men who've been lifting weights for a long time, they're not that big either. It really does. Often, these people that you see that have massive muscles and stuff have often used steroids, and that's a whole different. But if you do this naturally, you're going to get the body you want, not a huge muscle.
Yeah. Now, when you mention even the elderly, would that even mean maybe a septuagenarian and octogenarian?
Absolutely. We have in our classes, like I said, I am certified in silver sneakers, and which is a great program. If you have the Y offers that some other places offer, if you can find somewhere that offers that. But you don't have to do that. There's plenty of places at senior centers, wherever, where people exercise in a chair. You can sit in a chair and use weights and march in the chair and get up out of the chair a little bit. And we have people up until 100. I mean, even that come in, it benefits everyone. You have to get the doctor's okay. Right. But in general, absolutely. And the more weights you lift, the stronger. You can have a better quality of life.
Well, the silver sneakers, then, that's a specific
yes,
program for seniors.
Yes, it's a specific program for seniors. But there are lots of classes that aren't. You just want to make sure if you're going to a class that the person has some type of certification and they understand health benefit, because there are certain things with seniors you should be careful about doing because of balance and because of some decreased often range of motion and because of seniors have a greater tendency to get dehydrated. You have to make sure that you offer water more often for seniors because they tend to get dehydrated and they don't have the sense, as a younger person might tend to lose as you get older, your sense that I am thirsty. So you have to make sure to offer water and things like that we know that are certified. Having the weights up over your head, you want to be careful about how long and how often you do that. There's just different, and in using perceived exertion, more than, because many seniors are on blood pressure medication. So if you're using a heart rate where you're taking a pulse to see where the heart rate is, the blood pressure medication will keep that heart rate artificially down. So you shouldn't be using that. You should be using perceived exertion. So you want to make sure that the class you're going to, or the person that you're going to for a personal trainer, knows about seniors and knows about the special needs. But other than that, there's lots of classes to take, and it's a social time too,
right,
for seniors, because they get out, they enjoy meeting other people, and a lot of husbands and wives take these classes too. But
you mentioned that, honestly, before today, I'd never heard the term perceived exertion. Mm-hmm. So tell our audience again.
It's perceived, how much you feel you're exerting yourself. Because I, as an instructor, even say I'm teaching a cycling class, a spinning class, I'm teaching that, I watch people's faces, or even in aerobics classes, I can see in people's faces how tired they are. I can see when I think people are have exerted themselves too much and they're working too hard. You can see that, and you can kind of advise them. But I don't know exactly how you're feeling. You know how you're feeling. As an instructor, I monitor myself during class because I'm yelling too, so I have to know where I am because I'm working even harder. But perceived exertion is how much you feel you're working, and it's that singing along with the song. Can you talk? If you can talk and you can't quite talk and you're gasping and you can't get a sentence out to me, if I ask you a question, then you're too high and you have to bring your heart rate down. If you can sing along at the, belt out a song, you're not working too hard. Okay. And sweating, people tend to think that sweat is no, sweat is more how hydrated you are and how warm and humid the room is. So sweating isn't a good indicator. It's your breathing. So that's what we use perceived exertion. Okay,
and with you say sweating, how about the phrase "no pain, no gain"?
Not really. Not really. Any exercise is giving you a benefit, even if you're having an easy day and you're taking it easy and going for a stroll. Would it be better to work a little harder? Yes, but no pain, no gain isn't really, we don't use that as much anymore.
Now, on the subject of weight, and I mentioned before about the country's obesity epidemic, particularly for younger people. Will lifting weights, and again, this would apply really to even older people, will that help to lose weight?
Yes, absolutely. I have a lot of, particularly women actually, middle-aged women tend to ask me this one, and even younger women want to know, I don't want to lift weights while I'm trying to lose weight because I don't want, my fat to stay. And fat is not muscle. They're two different substances. Fat cannot turn to muscle, muscle can't turn to fat. They replace one another in the space. But what weights do for you is they build lean muscle mass. And lean muscle mass burns more calories. So someone who has a lot of lean muscle mass is burning more calories just sitting watching TV than someone who doesn't. So if you lift, and you want to make sure that you're lifting heavy enough. I tell my people, you want to be tired at the end of a set. So people that, I hear this a lot of times, high repetitions, little lightweight, high repetitions. I'm not a believer in that. You really, if you're going to be in that weight room, you don't want to waste your time. You want to pick up enough weight where you're not straining. You want to always have good form. That's very important because you want to target the muscle that you're trying to target, and you don't want to get hurt. But you want to have enough weight that you're pushing your body, because your body needs to be pushed all the time or it doesn't make any gains. So that's how we make gains, is lifting a little bit heavier.